Hey, beat baseball world. Welcome back to the Beatball Blues Show. Neil DAWG rocking a 1989 North Bay Nemesis jersey, the last year of the North Bay Nemesis. And I really just want to point that out because I was 21 in 1989 and I'm rocking this baby. This baby. Anyways, Bam Bam has been trying to get connected to the internet. He still lives in a place where that's still a foreign idea with dial-up computers. As Zach pointed out, Windows 98. So Bam Bam might join us throughout the show. Who knows? He's not here now, but who is here with us is a couple of Texas All-Stars from the San Antonio Jets, David Smith and Zack Arambula. Thanks for joining the program, guys.
What up? What up?
How you guys feeling?
I feel better after the series. Like since the series, the first week's always rough, but I feel good.
Yeah, I remember that more than anything. I think from my playing days is that like coming home from the tournament, even just that last day at the hotel when everything's clearing out, everybody's gone, saying goodbye, and then to the next week, it's just such a big like adrenaline drop off. You know what I mean? It takes a while to kind of recover from that. Not to mention like what your body goes through during those 5 days.
For sure.
Yeah, it's a mental thing for sure.
Yeah, I've been telling coaches, players, whatever, for a long time, since like the 90s. It took me a while to realize it, but getting ready for the tournament, it's a 5-day tournament. You guys ended up playing what, 9 games, I think, in the 5 days.
Was it 9?
I think you went,
I thought it was 7.
No, we were 7.
But it probably was 9, because we went the long way.
Yeah, you were 7-2 overall. Most of the teams did end up playing like 7, 8, 9 games. I think only one team played 10 games. But so that takes a toll on you physically. But man, you really need to be prepared mentally to deal with that, because it really wears on you. And you guys were in Wichita, with a heat index like 105, humidity, like what I mean. There's so much coming at you in that tournament.
Yeah,
so, and it
was definitely hot, but coming from Texas, we're kind of used to it.
Yeah, right.
And also on the physical part, I actually felt better than I have in a while. Like going into like Wednesday or Thursday, just probably because of the fields. It was like it was a pillow out there. You didn't even really need pads.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It was for sure forgiving.
All the feedback, it sounded like it was a defensive paradise out there. And speaking of which, you guys, the San Antonio Jets, had the #1 defense out there. I was very impressed with your defense, not just at the World Series, but back at the Chicago tournament. The Jets have from day one. I mean, you start your team with Kevin Simpson, a Hall of Fame pitcher, and building it around Axe and Zach, some young athletes. Obviously the Jets have all started out as an offensive team, but you guys really focused on defense this year, and it showed. I was impressed with the defense you guys put together. What brought that whole thing together for you guys?
I think it was a couple things. So I think one, and the most thing, was having consistent spotters and veterans that know the sport. So Sarah Simpson and Kat. The Jets, in the history of our team, have not had consistent spotters.
Yeah.
And any spotters we did have were like put in tough positions, like never seen the game before and they're going to try it. Or I know we had Cindy, but she was put in a position to play our strong side and coming from a system where the numbers were backwards.
And she also, Cindy from Indy, so you guys are a Texas team. She wasn't somebody probably that was there with you guys at every practice,
right,
making it even more difficult to adjust.
Right. So our spotters this year were clutch. And then the other thing, I think our one-trick ponies kind of came into two-way players. So like David Smith and Lil Ricky, man, stepped up big time defensively and were able to produce both ways. You know, D. Smith was always a big hitter, and then finally found his defense. And then Ricky, I was always a good defender, and then finally he found his bat.
Yeah, the development of all this. Go ahead, David.
Oh no, I was agreeing with Zach.
The development is something definitely that jumped out to me. But while I have you first, Zach, because I was intrigued with the Jets defense in the 2020 season, as limited as it was. But when you guys went to Indy for that tournament, Zach, you were going to be playing shortstop, I believe, for the first time, at least for the Jets that I know of. And you end up getting entered early in the tournament. And so that never really, for 2020, came to fruition. So coming in, I was still intrigued to see how that looked. And it looked really good in the Chicago tournament back in June, I think that was. But man, you really had a great tournament this year, Zach. I was impressed. I know I was trying to remember which game it was. If it was the first Austin game, one of those games, you had 12 putouts, and that was not an extra inning game, man. 12 putouts in a 6-inning games puts you in rare class, in a rare class at the World Series. There are not a lot of people who've gone into that double-digit area with putouts. Man, talk about your development at shortstop.
So yeah, in 2020, that was going to be my first year playing short. I had I broke my wrist in the first game of the warm-up, so that sucked. And then development, I don't know, I've just been playing for 10 years, and I started in the back, played mid, and then I think I got the opportunity just when COVID hit and Isaiah wasn't going to be able to come to practices, and we were just trying to fit people into spots, and just started playing that shortstop, and getting the coaching from Kevin and the guidance from Axe and Richie, who have all played those spots. Just helped me a lot in my development. And then, but I mean, I was just fortunate to get the, 12 balls to come my way. I feel like almost anybody on our defense could have done that. Like Lil Ricky could have done that. Richie could have done that. Axe, Ricky Rajiska. I appreciate it.
No, that's fair, and I appreciate that. But also, having been out there, I know that you still have to make the play. You know what I mean? A lot of people get to balls, especially, when you're at the World Series playing in games that mean more than any of the other games throughout the year. You know what I mean? You still have to pick them up. I appreciate the humble, but you still got to make the plays.
That game, it was the Thunder game on Friday. And
Okay.
Yeah. It was I think it was the Mike Wallace broadcast.
Okay.
They were just talking about how a lot of balls were just coming.
Oh, Matt Wallace. You're talking about.
Yeah, my bad. Matt Wallace. They were great.
They were fantastic.
He was just saying that a lot of balls are going, or Brazil was saying a lot of balls going straight to me, or same thing with Nick Moheran against the Edge game, and then Matt Wallace was saying but when balls are hit straight to you, sometimes that's the hardest ball, because your first reaction is you want to move, and you can take yourself out of a play. But just being able to be patient, which was crazy, because man, my heart was racing in that Thunder game for sure, playing shortstop for the first time.
No, I mean that's a great point. That with balls straight at you, it is so hard to stay home and not take a step one way or another. It's so hard to doubt that it's coming. I don't know why. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's all mental. I don't know if it's something just the way it sounds coming straight at you, but it is so hard to stay home and locked in when it's coming right at you. So that's probably the biggest jump someone can make in defense, actually, is just being able to trust your ears and be patient. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, people? I'm jumping in. Hello.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
We didn't get to talking trash about you not showing up. We're
Joy,
just
joy. Hello.
What
Sorry,
up?
I don't
What's
have
up? What
headphones
up?
in.
looking in, man.
What up, Bam Bam?
What's up, people? What's
Uh,
up? Sorry for my lateness. Hello.
It's all good. I've been talking to the fellas about their defense, and they're stepping up. And Zach, you mentioned through that, and Seth, you remember when we had Isaiah Wilcox on like a year ago. He was the shortstop for the Jets the last time you guys played in the championship game, and he was an all-star. He's been an MVP on defense. You know what I mean? You didn't replace like somebody who just didn't hold their water at shortstop. You know what I mean? You're stepping into some big shoes, and you held them up. David, let's jump to you on that same thing, because man, I just as your friend, dude, was so proud of your effort when I was listening to these games and these putouts being made, and David Smith out there gloving. I mean, I was happy for you to be on the field, because for those that haven't followed it, David's been a DH for a bunch of his career, and he's wanted to get on the field, and you got on the field and you're out there making plays, man. Talk about your development into a two-way player.
Yeah. So since my first day, like at the first practice, when I was pretty much sold on the sport, I was always intrigued with defense. It's always been the favorite part of the game to me. So I was very lucky and fortunate to be able to just be a DH, as soon as I was.
Yeah.
And I was happy with that, but I just never felt complete beat ball player, and that's just me personally. So I always, I always wanted to be out there with the boys on both sides.
It's okay. No DH feels like a complete player. So
I was like, I'm just gonna let Seth do it, but I was like, it's not just you personally. I know somebody else on this call they'll agree 100%.
No, I would agree. I would think that designated fielder feels more like a part of the team than the DH does. The DH doesn't feel like part of the team.
Well, I mean, no, I feel like part of the team for sure. It wasn't that. The skill of triangulation, trying to triangulate like a flying object, is like super tough. You guys know. So to me, it's always intriguing. Like if I can master something like that, or just get decent at it, then that'd be like really badass. And then I'd be out there with the boys, and if, a lot of things happen by attrition, and that's pretty much what happened in this instance, where people weren't able to come or whatever. But on the other side, I also worked hard, and even when my time came, people weren't worried. They already knew from seeing me in practice that we were going to be all right. It was just me personally having to be confident enough to go out there when my time was called, and so it was super fun. Super fun. I mean, I'm addicted to defense.
Man, I wish y'all could. I know y'all seen the development of David Smith like on the field, but I wish y'all can see it in the practice field, because man, it was super funny. Because this dude Smith wanted it so bad, you could see it, man. He would come to practice every day, or like trying to, even try to have practices when they weren't scheduled. And just a funny story, like I don't know what David Smith would be doing. This is like when he first started, but we'd be playing defense, and D Smith would make a play, and no one really know what happened. And Kevin would be like, "Did you just catch that with your ass?" I guess he would like fall back and his legs would open. I don't know.
Yeah. I remember that.
Like 2 or 3 times, like, Smith, what are you doing?
Brings a whole new meaning in the basket.
No, I remember that play. I remember that play.
And 4 years later, man, there's no question about it. He can pick up a ball for sure.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by it, just because from the beginning, getting to know you guys, David was honest about wanting to get out on the field, but also David, as I've gotten to know you, as I've gotten to know you a little bit, you're a determined person. It doesn't matter. I don't think whether you're going through nursing school or raising your kids or getting out on the field, you just seem determined to be successful at the stuff you care about.
Yeah, oh for sure. Oh for sure. Yeah. If I'm gonna invest myself into something, I want to be the best for sure that I can be at it, you know.
Yeah.
And so it was so much fun just being out there. We are saying earlier about the hardest thing being to sit still. That was pretty much the biggest improvement I had from just developing the triangulation skill. And then feeling comfortable, my boys are comfortable with me, and that kind of helped me like just settle down. And I was able to sit there and not be so like antsy, you know. So that was the biggest jump I made from last year to this year, was just being patient.
Am I right in thinking you got moved around a little bit? Because as the tournament went on, because you guys had, I believe you started the tournament with Lupe in deep left, and then Axe in like middle center left, and Richie in middle center right.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Lupe got hurt, did Richie go out to deep left?
Yeah, Richie went to the 6, deep left.
And then did you move up to the mid right? Middle
yeah.
area?
And then Ricky Rajishko was deep right.
Okay, and that's what I thought. And as the tournament went on, with you getting moved up, closer into the play, you still kept making plays. But honestly, your whole defense, Richie Flores, out in deep left, made some big plays. I thought Axel was phenomenal in that I never know what to call it, kind of center left, the mid area in this left center field.
He could play a true mid, or we can move him back. We play a slide.
Okay, so that position moves around a little bit.
Yeah, depending on the batter.
I know Seth has played out in that area with some success. I only tried it once, and I found that position difficult. We were fortunate. We had Danny Fapiano played that for years for us, and then after Fop was gone, Mike Finn played there and played that great for us.
Yeah, played with both of them in mid.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a difficult position. When I see players like Axe was this year be really successful out there, I'm impressed with the guy. I went out to that area once. I consider myself a pretty good defensive player, and I just the way the ball came out, I don't know what it was, but man, I had a hard time getting in front of balls at that spot.
I also want to give a shout out to Ricky Brzezinski stepped up too, because he hasn't practiced with us in 2 years, and was able to go out there in the 3 and make probably 60% of his plays, and that he had opportunities on in the championship games or Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
How did definitely props to him, but somebody that got my attention back in Chicago, and
little Ricky, baby.
Yeah. Talk about little Ricky's development and what you could count on him to do going forward.
He's another dude that's hungry, man, like Smith. So, I knew, and a few of us knew that he had talent. He's fast. He's total, so he has good ears, and it was just being able to get the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Which is a ridiculous statement to make. There's plenty of totals that can't hear a damn thing. But go
ahead. Name drop one, big dog. Name drop one.
Bam Bam. He's a total that doesn't have great hearing. He'll say it himself. That's why he laughs. Yep, not all totals have great hearing.
Okay, Ricky does. Ricky has good ears, man. And so it was just being able to get the opportunity, and he had in Chicago, and he showed out for sure. That was probably he probably solidified his spot right there, because I think going into the Chicago tournament, we don't know, because his bat was questionable too at the time. And then that tournament, he showed his bat and he showed his defense. But he's always, I think he's always had the skill. He just needed the opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, he's been working on the off season with his strength, like lifting weight. Like he's been.
Yeah, man, he's hungry. He's
working.
practices. Yeah, he works at it.
Yeah, I love backing him up on defense because it's like he had so much range. Like I knew I didn't have to do much. You know, I just waited for him to tell me if I need to come up or not. But this guy has range. I'm not even playing. Like
I do think one thing that he has improved on is communication. Like,
oh yeah, hell yeah,
communicating when the ball's hit, being able to tell someone to come up or left, right, under, over, stuff like that. And then also with him being patient because he's so fast. He sometimes takes himself out of the play because he's too fast or gets kind of out of control. So he's found that speed to where he's still fast but under control and can make plays clean.
It's funny, Seth. So much of everything they just said about little Ricky reminds me of us playing with Lex. Like when he was coming up, you know, his bat developing and getting him to use his speed appropriate, communicate. We couldn't get Lex to say nothing in practice, man. Me and Lex but we bumped heads more than once. Don finally had to tell me to back off and give him some space because
shout out to Lex. What he got
another
bronze?
silver.
Silver.
His fifth Olympic Games, his fifth silver medal in the long jump, and he still is the world record holder in the long jump for totally blind athletes.
That's badass.
But he wants that gold. I actually want to have Lex and Zach Bueller together at some point, talk about their their Paralympic success.
That'd be cool.
But Lex already says he's going for number 6 in 2024. So
nice.
He's still going to take a shot at that gold, baby.
But also wanted to say one more thing on the Richie at the 6.
Sure.
I know people have talked about this a lot already, especially in Beat Ball Nation. But man, I wish those deep guys could get recognition on defensive all-star teams because Richie showed out, and then Miguel Tello too, man. He ate us up in the back in those championship games. And
he made
for them not to be recognized is ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Miguel Tello made some back-breaking plays especially in the championship game, but throughout the time. I mean, he's always been a good defensive player.
Yeah, for sure.
Now you make a good point. You know, Kevin Simpson was the first one I ever noticed really try to push for this. And it was somewhere in the last 10 years and it just never got legs. And I don't know, maybe all of us should come together and try to figure out what we could do. But it's absolutely true that our defensive all-star, it's mostly about numbers, and the players playing up front or at shortstop specifically are going to have more opportunities. That the league is dominated by right-handed hitting, and shortstop is always going to be a hot spot. And we've had outfielders forever who are phenomenal. Mike Finn, Mike Hoodlum, Mike McLaughlin, Hood, Rob Wygant in his day, Devin Nance from
Kyle Lewis. Kyle Lewis. I also think is a good back defender.
Yeah, I wasn't following as close when Kyle was playing more on the defense side. I've always known Kyle as an all-star level type player, but I've known him more for his bat, so I couldn't have spoke on his defense. Zach Bueller, a great.
Zach Bueller, Brandon Chester, Luke back in the day.
Yeah, we taught Luke how to play. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, it's just a hard hurdle to jump with trying to figure out a way to get those deep men recognition, or trying to figure out how to devalue what those short people actually get. And then there's also the fact that some of those short people end up playing lesser teams as the tournament goes on, and there's just more short balls hit, right? I mean, it's not just a thing of right-handed hitters. I mean, there's just a lot of short balls hit, and so you would have to figure out a way to weight those deep guys putouts and stuff like that.
Well, I mean,
it's hard.
It'd be easy just to be like, who got the most putouts in midfield, who got the most putouts in deep. I mean,
I actually, to Seth's point though, David, I think we need to go a little bit. It shouldn't just be on the numbers because, like, what Seth was just pointing out, and I'm not putting shade at all on Evan Van Dyne because he's a really, really good defensive player, but who the teams Minnesota faced for the tournament as a whole, and the teams that that the Jets faced, the competition level is different. You played the Thunder twice, the Austin twice. The 4 of your games came against the top 3 teams. So that's again, that's no shade against Evan or anybody else really. But it, like, who the teams are playing should, like, they don't just give the Heisman to the person that throws for the most yards, or you know what I mean? You got to consider their competition, and maybe a good way to go. Because I think it's 3 levels that should be recognized: the front players, the medium level players, and the deep players. And maybe we should find some kind of way to where you recognize maybe like 3 players from each level rather than just the top numbers. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I was going to say, at some point there has to be like an eye test, right? It can't always just be about stats. I mean, I think almost every All-Star thing does it. It's off of votes, not based off of solely stats.
Well, who knows? Maybe we just started a big conversation and beat ball nation.
Make another committee, or add that to the committee.
Yeah, I mean, you could do.
God,
you could,
that would
you
be
could
terrible.
You could do top 2 of each level, and that's 6 right there.
Yeah, but that seems like that's why I said top 3, just because it seems like we're cheating people by going just 2. Go ahead, Seth.
But I was going to say, it's the same thing though. It becomes difficult because at times throughout the tournament, with injuries, people don't play the same position all the time, right?
So
you might,
that's a good point.
You know, and then you're playing middle, right?
We just talked about Richie and David. Like, Richie went from medium right to deep left, and David went from deep right to medium right. So it
changes the thing. I mean, so it's just a very difficult thing to actually get right. It's just hard.
The other side, having spent so many years on the board and the tournament committee specifically, where I know you're going to get pushback, is the score sheet. Like, they've never wanted to change the score sheet to identify infield, outfield, whatever, just simply because it makes it more difficult. Difficult or not, I mean, it's difficult for us to go play. So the players should. So if we can, we need to recognize the players the best we can.
We just need to kind of. It's a hard thing to devise, but we just, people need to put their minds together and see if they can come up with something. This might be the best system you can get, but
maybe
it's possible that you could get some love somewhere out there.
Yeah, no reason why we can't try that. I mean, you don't know something's better until we find it.
Exactly.
Well, shout out to Richie and all those balled out.
Yeah, I just shout out to your whole team. I couldn't have been more impressed. I did want to say, because you talked about little Ricky's communication. I went to Axel, because Ax and I have a pretty close relationship, and I went to him after your Chicago tournament, and because I since you brought up the communication, Zach, I noticed that you guys had too many balls dying in between you. 2 players, like somebody had scored because the ball was sitting between 2 players that didn't communicate on who should do what. And I went to Axe. I was like, man, I don't know what you guys need to do, but you've got to fix that. You cannot lose a game at the World Series because 2 players let a ball die in between them. So, I gave him some ideas on how we did it, whatever. I never talked to him about it again, but you guys were a lot better at the World Series than you were in Chicago, I thought, with just being aggressive. Go ahead, Zach.
I wasn't very happy with my performance personally at Chicago, and literally I don't think we had one practice going into Chicago, and so the whole ride up there we were just saying, like, all right, y'all ready to go practice? So we're just gonna treat the tournament like this is our first practices, But that was on me for sure. I missed a couple practices that they might have had, and yep. I wanted to party in Austin instead of going to practice, so that was my fault. But
You own it though. You know what I mean?
I got it together after that, and then started practicing. And we figured all that out.
So going forward, anybody close to beat baseball at this point is well aware that Kevin Simpson, a 35-year vet at pitching and the pitcher of the Jets since day one, is stepping down at least as pitcher. And you guys are going forward. I believe it's Lupe's like brother-in-law, cousin, another family member.
friend of his family. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's go come in and try. And you guys are going to get an early look. Seth, they're playing in that we've talked about, that tournament. You all right?
I laughed. I'm just funny.
Okay.
I've always, it's the same thing, right? I mean, which could be my struggles with, or my son struggles with the team around him on football. My struggles personally hitting with the pitchers that I was presented with over my career until I got to Fonzie. I find it funny that people who have gotten a chance to hit off Kevin their entire career are going to have to go to door number 2. So I find it funny, right? We might all of a sudden not have so many all-stars coming off the San Antonio Jets. So I just find it so to me the thought just was giggling to me. So it's a hard road when you don't have an all-star pitcher. Let me just say that.
I'm glad you said that, man, because
me too.
I'm actually excited that with our new pitcher, and I think some people might be surprised, and I'm for sure gonna show them this podcast, so to motivate them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Hey, like I said, the pitcher is the key. If the pitcher's not there, it makes it difficult to be a good offensive team. I was just saying that. So
I'm not sure if you guys I don't think he's saying it's funny, like, haha, you guys have to go through it. Like our experience, Seth and I coming up, like Seth and I came up playing together, much like you and X, Zach, and our experience from yours is so different. Like I finished with Tim Hipner, but like when we started the Dogs, we had Henry for 2 years, and then we had Brian for 1 year, and then we had Greg for 1 year, and then Brian came back, and then we had Greg and Brian. Like we going in, that was never by design. From year to year, we didn't know what we were going to have for a pitcher, and we were a top 3 team from 95. Well, 96 we weren't, but outside of 94 and 96, we were a top 3 team every year, not knowing who our pitcher was going to be. So it's funny to us from the standpoint, like we lived in a different world than you guys. So you guys have never known what it's like to come in with an unknown at pitcher. That, you know what I'm saying?
I didn't take it anyway. I'm just taking it as a competitor, and like
please don't. Nobody go out there and beat Ball Nation saying I was attacking.
No, for sure. As soon as this podcast is over, I'm writing a post
let's
about
not get all into that.
I'm gonna tell you. Yeah,
I'm telling you, like I didn't take anything by it. I was just saying as a competitor.
So like when Danny Fabiano came from Albuquerque to, I believe it was the Blaze or the Dogs at that time. It was the Dogs. It was a very hard transition for him, going from a great.
We had 2 brand new pitchers. It was actually the 1 year we were the Thrashers. Fabiano had played with Ray Cerna, most of his career, and we had 2 rookie pitchers that struck him out left and right. Fabiano almost went bananas.
I'll just point out where I grew up with the Blaze. I always remember the Minnesota tournament. I batted a little bit under 500. I believe I was 19 of 40, right? 19 of 40. I struck out 20 times, right? I was 19 of 40, struck out 20 times. It's a different world when pitchers are K-ing you. That's all I'm saying. It's a different world.
And that's fine.
And I've always admired you guys.
I know. Y'all don't know Jeremy.
It's like,
Lopez,
man, sure. I wish we could be there. I wish we had a great pitcher, but
I was just saying off of just saying, no, I didn't take anything by. I was just saying, as a motivator, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
if
yeah.
you're a competitor, you like to hear stuff like that. You like to hear the naysayers. You hear like professional athletes always saying that. Like
Yeah.
Jordan, he did his best when someone would say something about him or talk some trash. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
I'm not talking
It's
trash. I'm not,
I didn't say you were, big dog.
I
Don't get so
know what-
defensive.
Yeah, I love Lupe. I love the Lupe's family, man. I have nothing but respect for those people, man. So I mean, the
didn't say
whole
you're talking
family is great
Yeah.
deep-ball players. So,
I didn't say you were talking trash, but yeah. Okay.
We're good. We're good. So where I was trying to go with this at the beginning, and then we'll wrap it up with this. But so Seth, we've talked about a lot about the tournament that Larry Reed and Rosie
Yeah, yeah.
Reed host.
title
It's
tournament.
coming up, yeah. And so the Jets are playing in that tournament with their new pitcher. Jeremy is his name, right, guys?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's the date of that tournament, and talk about going into that tournament and playing with them.
Remember the
It's-
name.
Is it
It's,
called Remember the Name?
No, Jeremy's the way he's
It's
talking
called.
about.
I mean,
Remember
it's
his name.
it's on October 9th. October 9th. We're gonna use this this tournament obviously to see where Jeremy is at for sure, and then also to you know, continue to try to develop our players, new players that we have, and new players we want to develop. I know that tournament they play on turf, so it's always tough
Ooh.
defensively. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That is
It's
crazy.
Is
That's
it one of
wild.
those like rubberized?
yeah. So like when the ball hits, it goes. You know what I mean? Like when
Oh,
it hits
yeah.
the ground, it bounces
Yeah.
super high.
Yeah.
So it'd be hard to do that, but just to have like our newer players work on angles and defensively, and then obviously work on offense.
Those are in case anybody's confused by why maybe I'm assuming that's one of the turfs like where they play like wheelchair baseball and stuff on. Am I correct, or is it a different type turf?
On turf? Oh, I don't know.
See, there's a group here in Sacramento that's been around forever. They actually helped us host the World Series here in 1999, called Access Leisure, that I used to work for, and they had a facility because they sponsored everything: wheelchair basketball, wheelchair baseball, like any kind of Paralympic sport. Plus, they had a grassy area out there where we could do beep ball stuff. So when they first built that field, you know, for the wheelchair baseball, they're like, you guys could practice beep ball here. It's like, no, we can't. But so I'm thinking when you told me that you guys are playing on turf there, that it's that kind of turf. But am I wrong? Is it more like a football like what kind of turf is it?
It's a football field. It's turf.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
football field.
Okay. So go ahead.
I was gonna say I've actually never played on that field, but they played on that same field for like years.
Okay.
But this will be the first time the Jets have ever attended this one. But they've been doing it since, I mean, I was with the Blackhawks.
That's
Yeah,
crazy, because the Heat goes there, you know, usually goes there, and I've never
Mhm.
heard them say that it was on a turf field or whatever.
Because they've been doing it so long, it wasn't, you know, like
Yeah, it wasn't
one
an issue,
reason
so.
to point out to you. You know?
Yeah.
I love that when Larry Reed was on on this show with us, and we planned to have both he and Rosie on to talk about the tournament. So thanks for telling me the date. But when Larry told us about the tournament, like you know how like they're remembering like cancer patients and letting the balloons go. They recognize it's a visual thing, and it's something about like people losing their sight. Also, do you know more about it, David? Am I?
What are we talking about?
The tournament that they honor, the tournament that's coming up in Tyler.
Oh, it's a breast cancer awareness.
Yeah.
Right. I thought they tied two. I thought they tied two things together on that. But you know, in the end, going back on your team and with your new pitcher, look, if it's a more of an offensive tournament, what a better time to give your pitcher a really good run, right?
Hell, if I knew it was on turf, I'd go, man. I might score something.
Hey, I think your little message in a couple podcasts back sent home to your boys. I think Houston's getting a couple new players.
Yeah, no.
Hey.
Oh my goodness,
You gonna drop some beans on that or what?
I mean, if you guys want to, I mean, a lot of it's been out on Beatball Nation. It's not like, well, I guess not. We're not dropping any beans, I guess.
Yeah.
I was
That's for sure in
confused for a
Houston.
minute
Doesn't-
on what was being talked about. I was like,
Yeah,
well,
I
I
don't
guess
know.
that has not been talked about. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's the stuff that has been talked about has been surprising to me. Like, you know, the like stuff with the Titans. I'm surprised.
Yeah,
like to
that
me,
sucks.
that's a prod.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
crazy.
product that I've been impressed with, and I think they're still going to have a good team, but they're losing a lot of weight over there. Things go hog wild. I don't know what's going on. Man.
Big dog hog. He'll be at the tournament.
Who?
Scott will be at that Texas tournament.
Who's he playing with?
I think he's in a row with Houston for that tournament.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think my man Marvin Morgan, who was on the show last time, is going to be out there. I don't remember who is he playing with Houston also?
Probably.
I think he said he was playing with Houston. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Houston doing some recruiting.
They got to. Times are changing. Times are changing.
Yeah, you gotta bring it back, man, Bam.
Yeah, bring it back.
Bring it back.
Never.
Wow, that's strong word. You weren't here with us. It kind of screwed me up, but my plan for the last couple days, I don't know why, has been to, because of all the players jumping team to team right now. Does breaking news. Seth and I and Zach and David are starting a new team. Call it the Texas Two Steps. But
nah, I don't co-sign on that.
The Texas Two Step. You could have come up with a better name.
I wanted to go as corny as possible. Somebody might run with it, think it was true. So, anyways, so coming out of the World Series, I thought it'd be fun for a while here to highlight. Our all-stars. I went after Marvin Morgan, who's a 61-year-old offensive all-star this year. Cool. Man, big Zack Arambula, who's been an offensive all-star many times, coming through and having such a huge defensive year this year. So I wanted to get Zach on, and my man D Smith, who's always welcome on the show. But man, you had another big year offensively, but I wanted to talk about your defense too, David. So I appreciate you guys coming on. Congratulations on your both of you having just a great year, and on the Jets' great season. Good job this year, guys.
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you.
Super proud of our team, and the way we played defensively.
Should be. Absolutely. And I'll be listening on those games in October, listening to you guys in the Tyler tournament. And good luck with you guys. Hope everything works out for you going forward.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Jet life.
Hey, good luck to the new pitcher, man. And Lupe, good luck to the man. Jets, good luck to the new pitcher, to the new future. It'll
just couldn't resist, huh, big dog?
Hey, I was just saying, good luck to you guys. Good luck. I mean, I'm wishing you guys good luck. I could say other things, but I'm wishing you guys good luck. So it could be me not resisting or whatever. But what I'm saying is good luck.
we got really close to closing out.
Hey,
no bad energy, man.
Hey. But like I said, man, it's been a long night. It's been a long morning.
We won't go into all that.
It's all good fun, baby.
I did explain to David where your mindset might be and how it had nothing to do with beat baseball.
It's been a long day, but hey, I retracted. No good luck to you then.
Meatball wise,
I retracted. No good luck to you guys. Goodbye. No, good luck to you guys.
Meatball wise, I pointed when we had this whole weird thing with the Thunder that we ironed out, fortunately. But when all that was going on, one of the things I pointed out to somebody on the Thunder is Seth and I are in totally different places, meatball wise. I haven't been on the field since 2009, man. None of these players know me. I don't have I'm just getting to know the teams and what they're doing. Seth was out there playing you guys just 2 years ago. He won and lost games against the Thunder, the Jets, Boston, whatever. Like, yeah, there's still like emotional stuff between you guys, him, not just with you guys, but other teams, whatever. You know what I mean? We're in different places, so sometimes takes us in funny areas with the show.
That's an excuse, Neil, man. The legends are out there. You need to get out there.
Yep.
All right.
Legends.
Yeah,
Thought
right.
about it. You thought about it, right?
I didn't put there's no excuse. Like, I didn't say why I haven't been out there. There's no excuse.
He was just trying to explain why I might approach things with a little bit more fire than he does.
I'm playing, y'all. I'm playing. You don't have to explain yourself. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'll be honest. I want to get back out there, and it'd be hard not to be out on the field. Like, I'm in better shape right now than I was in during some of my like 20s and 30s. I'm ashamed to say that, because that meant that I wasn't being responsible then, but I'm in decent shape now. And you got your Marvin Morgan out there. James Michaels made the defensive all-star teams, like a 57, 58-year-old. It's like, I know I could still play defense. I don't want to go to a team that needs me to hit the ball 40 times. That's not what I'm up for, but man, I think I could play. So I'd love to get out on the field. I'm not. I'm being serious. I was like, even if it's just at somebody's practice, like, just to feel it again, I'd like to get out on the field.
What's the Cali team?
Pasadena.
Yeah.
The Pasadena Panthers. Yeah, they're like 400 miles from me. But, no, I would like to. I think it'd be fun to get out on the field. So I don't know. We'll leave it at that.
Come back, Neil. You got it.
David's sleepy.
All right, fellas, man. I love you guys. Thanks for coming on. We'll wrap it up with that. Zethar, thank you, man. Zach, David, appreciate you guys. Frank Porter, thank you for all the work you do on the show. David, I know who you say goodnight to before we just sign out, man. Give it to me.
Good night, Crystal.
Oh, dude. All right. Good night, Aunt Cindy.
Jet life.